everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. This video is going to be about another new palette that I recently purchased. I actually purchased this palette at Macy's because they did have a special offer going on where you got $10 off every $50 that you spent. So I am talking about the new Tarteist Pro palette. Here's the palette. It contains 20 different shadows. So you're going to get quite a few matte shades. So all the square pans that you see are matte, which is really, really nice. And then you have your 4 shimmery shades right here on the side. So I'll have to say for Tarte, I was pleasantly surprised with the color selection inside of this palette. Tarte has a tendency to be, for lack of a better word, kind of boring to me. Even though the quality is pretty good, it's pretty decent. It's just that typically when they release palettes, you see the same shades over and over and over and over again. So it was nice to kind of see them branch out a little bit and kind of play a little bit with texture in this palette. So I did use this palette on my eyes today. Today on my eyes, I used this shade right here called Mod as my transition shade. And then I smoked out with this shade right here called Drama. And then I smoked out a little bit more, added a little bit of Vamp. And I also used a hint of the black shade, which is called Punk. And then I used Trendy, which is down here, one of those duochromes all over the lid. So the look turned out really nice. I'm really happy with the look that came out of it. I think it's really pretty. I will say that this Mod shade that I used to transition with did go on a little bit patchy. So I did have to build that one up quite a bit to get a nice, even, type of look. So that's when I kind of went in with some of those deeper shades and blended just a little bit more to get rid of some of that patchiness. I also think that will come into play more for people who have drier eyelids. If you're using a stickier base, I think you may have an issue blending these shadows out. Because for me, I have oily eyelids, so I use a bit of a drier base. I actually use a paint pot, which is a waterproof cream shadow from MAC. So I kind of lay that down first to keep the oil from my eyelids from, breaking down my eye look. But I'm feeling like if you're using a stickier, more emollient primer, you're going to have some issue blending these matte shades out. I don't think the satiny shades, the dimethicone type of formula shades on the side are going to give you a problem though. Those are pretty smooth and creamy, so no issues with those. But the mattes, you're going to have some blending issues. So why don't we do this? I'm going to just kind of start swatching row by row. So I'm going to start with this first row up here at the top. So this first shade is called Classic, and then next we have Innocent, and then Whimsy, Smoked, and then last but not least in that row is this shade called Ethereal. So there we are. So we have Classic, which is the cream on the bottom. Then we go to Innocent, Whimsy, Smoked, and Ethereal right at the top. Ethereal is the really pretty kind of duochromy shade. So nice neutral row. I mean, I definitely think this row, even though it is quite neutral, it's still necessary to the palette so you can kind of create more cohesive look. So you do have, a nice brow bone highlight, some transition, some transition shades and things like that in that row. So very, very pretty. The mattes in this row, quite nice. I will say that the smoke shade, a little bit patchy, but definitely still able to blend that one out. And really nice color payoff. All right, so let's get a wet wipe. All right, so let's get into row number 2, which is where we start to see those purples. Row number 2 right here. Okay. So first is Vintage, Fierce, No Filter, Vamp, which I do like very much. I like Vamp. I think it's a great shadow. And then the duochrome in this row is called Glam. So there is the second row of shades, starting with the duochrome and going all the way down. As you can see, the color payoff is really, really nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. All right, so we're going to do row number 3. right, so here's row number 3 right here. You know, being that this gold is very reflective, hopefully I'm not blinding y'all to death, but let me back it up just a little bit. All right. So in this row we have Chic, Profesh, Mod, which is that one that I said went on a little bit patchy, Drama, and then the duochrome in this row is called Minx. There we are. So that is row number 3. It's a very pretty palette. It really is. I'm very pleased with the look that came out of it. My only issue is just, you know, kind of doing some extra blending work. But, you know, blending is my cardio. All right, so we're going to swatch the 4th and final row of shades. All right, so let me show it to you. So here's the 4th row right here. All right, so we have Indie, which is a really pretty matte taupe. Bold, Edgy, which is a nice, really nice chocolate brown. And then we have Punk, which is the black shade. And then Trendy, which is what's on my lid. All right, so there's the 4th and final row. All right, so there are all the shades in the Tarteist Pro palette. Like I said, I am pleasantly surprised, especially with the color selection in this particular palette. I think it is really, really nice. If you kind of look row by row, you can actually see some great, you know, look ideas for every day. It just kind of helps give you, you know, a guide if you're kind of looking to figure out, you know, what shades to use with what. I think it's laid out really, really pretty. I think Tarte actually did a pretty good job on this palette. This is, let's see, I haven't purchased a Tarte palette since the Tartelette in Bloom. Just because, like I said, the palettes seem to kind of just run together, be the same color scheme all the time. But the Tartelette in Bloom really intrigued me because I thought that one, even though it was neutral, it was still had some unique shades in it. And I liked the formulation of the shadows. And I feel like these are very similar in formula to that particular palette. They perform pretty much the same. The few times that I have used this palette, I have enjoyed it. I think the packaging gets an A+. It is extremely sturdy and hard, easy to clean. I don't think you'll have any issues keeping this in your kit and keeping it sanitized. The mirror is very, very functionable. It's really cute. It says Tarteist right across the mirror. So retails for $53. You can find this at Ulta. You can find this at Sephora, at both retailers right now, and also on the Tarte website. So, thank you guys so much for joining me for this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care.